folks, a major recession is on the way and you need to be prepared. Welcome back, everyone. I want to discuss an issue that many people are shying away from. They're trying to avoid it, but the fact is that it could be on the way. And that's the fact that the United States and the world, for that matter, can potentially be going into a major recession, and soon. So we're going to be talking about what are the prospects of this recession coming, when could it likely occur, and what does it mean for you, and what do you need to do to prepare for this upcoming recession. So let's jump right into this news, but before we do, as always, make sure you folks do a couple things for me. Number one, give this video a tremendous thumbs up, smash the like button. If this video gets to 500 likes, we will do a cash giveaway where we give away $100 to a few of you lucky subscribers. So just a little incentive for you folks supporting the content. And if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, click that big red button, and have notifications turned on. So important that you turn on that bell. Once we hit 20,000 subscribers, which could be in just a week or two at the pace we're going, we're going to be doing another cash giveaway where we give away a certain amount of money, actually double the amount of money that we gave away at 10,000 subscribers. And you'll have to be subscribed to be entered in that giveaway. With that being said, let's get started and dive right in. So what exactly is going on? Well, if you've been following the stock market for that matter, it has been an indicator that a recession could be on the way. Just on Tuesday this week, the market plunged over 800 points, the Dow that is, on fears that a recession is looming. This came subsequently after last Friday, the Dow dropped more than 970 points. That marked its worst day since October of 2020. And now Deutsche Bank became the first major bank to forecast a US recession, albeit a mild one that they predicted earlier, but now they're actually predicting a major recession to hit the United States. It is now warning of this deeper downturn fueled by the Federal Reserve's efforts to knock down inflation. In a report written to clients on Tuesday, Deutsche Bank economists wrote, quote, "We will get a major recession." The problem, according to the bank, is that while inflation may be peaking, it will take a long time before it gets back down to the Fed's goal of 2%. That suggests that the central bank will raise interest rates so aggressively that it hurts the economy. Deutsche Bank economists wrote in this report, quote, "We regard it as highly likely that the Fed will have to step on the brakes even more firmly, and a deep recession will be needed to bring the inflation to heel." And this report came along with an ominous title saying, quote, "Why the coming recession will be worse than expected." It's certainly an interesting time that we're living in. Consumer prices have spiked 8.5% in March. This is the fastest pace in 40 years. But meanwhile, on the same note, the jobs market does remain on fire. In fact, Moody's Analytics projects that the unemployment rate could fall to its lowest level since the 1950s. To make its case, Deutsche Bank created an index that tracks the distance between inflation and unemployment over the past 60 years and the Fed's stated goals for those metrics. That research, according to the bank, finds that the Fed is much further behind the curve than it has been since the early 1980s, a period when extremely high inflation forced the central bank to raise interest rates to record highs, crushing the economy. History shows that the Fed has never been able to correct even smaller overshoots of inflation and employment without pushing the economy into a significant recession, according to the bank. So given that the job market has over-tightened by as much as 2 percentage points of unemployment, the bank says that something stronger than a mild recession will be needed to do the job. Now, if you want a glimmer of hope, the good news is that the bank sees the economy rebounding by mid-2024 as the Fed reverses its course in its inflation fight. Now, of course, no one will know exactly how this plays out. Although Deutsche Bank is pessimistic, it is the most bearish on Wall Street. Other banks contend that this gloom and doom is simply overdone. For example, Goldman Sachs concedes that it will be very challenging to bring down this high inflation and wage growth, but stresses that a recession is not inevitable. In a report that Goldman Sachs economists wrote Friday evening, they said, quote, "We do not need a recession, but probably do need growth to slow to a somewhat below potential pace a path that raises recession risk. So what they're saying is that we're not doomed and we are not absolutely 100% going to be going into a recession, but it will definitely be a tough time to sort of bring down and tamp down this inflation and wage growth for that matter, because it is happening across states across the country. UBS Bank is similarly hopeful that economic activity will continue to expand despite the Fed shift to inflation fighting mode. According to Mark Hayfel, who is a chief investment officer at UBS Global Wealth Management, he wrote in a report on Monday, quote, "Inflation should ease from current levels and we do not expect a recession from rising interest rates." But Deutsche Bank is surprised that they are the outlier on Wall Street and the most radical bank in this scenario. They simply say that in order for the Fed to stop the long-term and detrimental impacts of prolonged inflation, that the Fed must continue to raise interest rates, and that simply will lead to a recession. Either way, you should always be prepared for an economic downturn. So what could a recession mean for you and how could it affect your life? Granted, not everyone feels the exact same effects from a recession. Some people might actually thrive during recessions, while some could bear the brunt. First of all, it could lead to job loss. When economic activity slows, businesses have to lay off workers. There could also be tremendous health consequences. This is because many workers, like for example in 2007 to 2009, who were laid off, ultimately had no health insurance coverage, and that could mean detrimental impacts. Students and young people could also feel the worst effects from a recession. This is because it might be difficult finding or keeping the same job during a recession, and also it becomes harder and harder to pay off their student loans. So any delay in debt reduction and asset accumulation, and also finding that steady career, could hurt them for not just the short term but also the macro as well. But do keep in mind that some businesses and corporations are actually recession proof. This is because their businesses continue to thrive during the ups as well as the downs. This could include disaster cleanup services, car repair shops, hair salons, and other goods and services that will continue to grow and continue to bring in revenue even during a recession. So we understand the disastrous ramifications that a recession could have on individuals, families, and businesses, but what could you actually do to prepare for this recession? What could you do to be unshakable and actually win during the next economic downturn? Whether it happens by the end of this year or in a few years from now, you want to be prepared. How could you actually beat this recession? First of all, do you have any savings or liquid money whatsoever? Do you have any cash that could cover your bills for the next 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or even a year if you lost your job tomorrow? If you don't have at least 6 months worth of savings or steady side incomes or cash flow coming in on top of your W-2 job, or maybe you're on a fixed income, well then you have to start saving and building your nest egg. The more you save, the less chance there will be that you have to max out your credit cards, raid your retirement account, sell your valuables, borrow from your friends, or move in with your parents or adult children if you're out of work. Number 2, pay off your debt. And that's the bad debt, the consumer debt, the credit card debt, the auto loan, the student debt, the debt that increases your monthly expenses because of the interest, because if you were to pay this off, this would mean that you could free up additional income. Now, this doesn't mean that you should avoid debt your entire life altogether, but focus on getting rid of that debt that does not improve your financial situation. Because once you take care of this debt, this could free up additional income that can go towards important needs and also build that nest egg and savings to prepare for the next recession. You should never borrow more than you can afford to repay. This means you should probably stop putting things on credit cards and also stay away from high interest rate credit cards altogether, because financially that never makes sense. Third thing you should do is start prioritizing your purchases. Start focusing on what you actually need versus what you actually want. Stop going on expensive vacations, eating at fancy restaurants, or trying to keep up with the Joneses buying the latest and hottest car. And yes, even that daily latte or coffee could add up big time. Review your budget and decide which items you can either eliminate altogether or at least hold off on. This could save you thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars a year. Getting by on little income is the key to recession-proof living, and it's how you could actually beat the recession when it does come. Number 4, you also might want to think about recession-proofing your career. If you don't feel that your job or career is stable for the long haul, well, you might want to think about changing up your resume and learning more skills. You might want to think about getting that second job or maybe starting a side hustle, because if you lose your job entirely or your employer reduces your wages, well, then this is one way that you could survive and ultimately win. Recessions can be financially and emotionally and even physically painful for some people, but given the historical pattern, it is likely that you will experience a few of them in your lifetime. So plan ahead to support you and your family whenever the next one occurs. So I'm curious about your thoughts on all of this. Do you believe that we are in for a recession and that one is inevitable and on the way? Definitely let me know down below in the comments section. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Or do you believe that this is all hype and it's all just a fear tactic? Let me know down below. And also, have you experienced any recessions in your lifetime? Have you had to gone through a period of time where your family or yourself was struggling? Let me know. And what did you do to survive? Definitely help each other out in the comments section. Let's get a dialogue going. Give each other some advice and tips and strategies, because we also have some older elderly people here, and I'm sure they have been through financial hardship during their life. So let's get this discussion going, and feel free to let us know how you survived and what you could do to plan ahead. We will absolutely remain vigilant and watchful of this next recession and keep our eyes peeled, because we're going to want to know the second it does begin. So all updates and news can be found right here on this channel. More news and developments will follow suit. I hope you got value out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a tremendous thumbs up. Smash the like button. I would appreciate that. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Click that big red button and have notifications turned on. If you haven't already, make sure you get some free stocks down below in the description of this video. Sign up with the brokerage platforms Robinhood and or Webull. You'll get some free stocks, some of them valued up to thousands of dollars in some cases. So let us know what stocks you get. And if you want to connect me on social media, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Connect with me across all social platforms down below. And I look forward to connecting with you there. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care for now.